In the quiet courtyard, Xiao Yu stood still, watching two men embrace. He had just handed his horse's reins to a guard, observing the emotional reunion. His presence was silent, yet the weight of untold stories hung heavy in the air. This encounter was a long time coming, fraught with unspoken history. Luo Deyuan's words, spoken from the depths of his heart, resonated with raw sincerity. There was no hidden mockery, only profound emotion. He genuinely believed what he said, reflecting a bond forged in hardship that spanned vast distances, from his birthplace in Guanling, Yangzhou, to Xiao Rong's home in Jibei, under the Great Wall. These two men, from different corners of the land, were brought together by Emperor Yongqing's campaign against the state of Wu. They became sworn brothers on the battlefield. When Luo Deyuan was wounded and about to return home, Xiao Rong had grasped his hand, promising frequent letters and a visit once the war settled. For the first 3 months after Luo Deyuan's return home, the letters indeed arrived. Each month, a message filled with inquiries about his well-being, accompanied by silver. Sometimes 5 coins, sometimes 2 taels. The last letter brought 10 taels of silver and a golden bracelet, celebrating Xiao Rong's great military achievement. Then, abruptly, silence. No more letters, no more news. On the battlefield, one could gain glory and wealth, or lose their life at any moment. Luo Deyuan had countless times wondered if his brother-in-arms had fallen in battle, or if he had returned home wounded, his family fallen on hard times, preventing further contact. Luo Deyuan knew Xiao Rong's hometown and had sent letters, but each one was like a stone sinking into the sea. He had considered searching for him in person, but his crippled leg made travel difficult. His child was young and couldn't be left alone. The journey was thousands of miles, fraught with dangers like mountain bandits. His tears subsided, Luo Deyuan wiped his face with his sleeve, his eyes red and swollen. He looked at Xiao Rong, his voice trembling. "Brother Xiao, I wrote you over a dozen letters, did you truly not receive them?" The question hung heavy, demanding an answer that Xiao Rong found hard to give. Xiao Rong, now settled in the capital, had indeed received a few letters forwarded from his hometown. But by then, he had been ennobled as a marquis. Fearing that replying would remind Luo Deyuan of their old marriage promise, he resolutely pretended never to have received them. He even felt a sense of relief when the letters eventually stopped. All those unspoken truths now choked in his throat. He cleared it, offering a vague explanation. "This story is long, let's go home, and I'll tell you slowly." Luo Deyuan eagerly agreed. "Yes, yes. You both must be tired from the long journey, come to my house to rest." The urgency in his voice was clear. Luo Deyuan's house was cleaner and more orderly than Xiao Rong had imagined. But at this moment, he paid no mind to whether the third son might frown at any imperfection. Luo Deyuan quickly arranged for Wang Qiuyue, his wife, who had rushed back upon hearing the news, to entertain Xiao Yu in the main hall. He himself eagerly pulled Xiao Rong towards the backyard. In truth, the main hall would have sufficed, but Xiao Rong specifically desired a private place to speak. Luo Fu, having no reason to remain beside the young male guest, retreated to her room after her father and Xiao Rong departed. Though her eyes saw nothing, her heart silently drifted towards the backyard, filled with questions. In the backyard, Xiao Rong and Luo Deyuan sat on separate chairs, pulled close together. Xiao Rong began his tale from the day they parted on the battlefield. He recounted his arduous journey, step by step, from a lowly 100-man captain to finally earning his title as a marquis. His words painted a picture of struggle and perseverance. He described the Battle of Chaoyang, where the emperor fell into an ambush by General Wu's forces. Their army was outnumbered, with only one path of escape. After several failed attempts, their 20,000 elite soldiers dwindled to a mere 3,000. He paused, his throat tightening with emotion. The memory was still vivid and painful. He continued, all were flesh and blood. Ahead lay only death. Some soldiers began to demand surrender. The emperor was furious, raising his sword several times to strike down those causing chaos, but he held back. Think about it, with so few troops, killing his own men would only aid the enemy. Xiao Rong closed his eyes, reliving that agonizing moment. The emperor declared to his remaining troops, anyone wishing to surrender could leave immediately. But for those who stayed to break through the encirclement with him, the living would be granted marquisates, and the fallen would receive 100 taels of gold for their families. He tore a military banner, asking loyalists to place their tokens inside. He swore to bury the tokens on the mountain, to fulfill his promise when they regrouped. Luo Deyuan listened as if he stood on the battlefield himself, his chest heavy. He quietly asked, finally, how many escaped? 2 lines of tears streamed down Xiao Rong's sun-darkened face. Besides the emperor, only I and 2 great generals. He let out a bitter laugh. The emperor and the generals were truly talented. As for me, I merely had a big life, not yet my time to die. He continued, later, the 2 great generals continued to achieve merits, becoming dukes through their own abilities. But I, with ordinary military tactics and unexceptional martial arts, only picked up the title of Marquis Zhongyi thanks to that great luck and the emperor's promise to encourage the troops. In the eyes of the capital's common folk, he was a lofty marquis, but among true noble families, his title was seen as undeserved. Thinking of the years of exclusion and disdain he faced after becoming a marquis, Xiao Rong could no longer hold back in front of his old friend. He wept like a child. Luo Deyuan, heartbroken, embraced him in comfort once more. Xiao Rong felt even more ashamed. He bowed his head and confessed everything from long ago, how he had abandoned his old friend and broken their engagement, all for the sake of wealth, power, and clinging to influence. Every word, every detail, was laid bare. Luo Deyuan listened, then simply offered a gentle smile. We only spoke casually about it back then. I had forgotten it after returning from the battlefield. Later, when Lan Er grew up, and your fate was still unknown, I remembered but feared Chuyue would blame me for making a casual promise and hindering our daughter's future, so I never dared to bring it up. He patted Xiao Rong's shoulder reassuringly. He continued, truly, you don't need to feel guilty towards me. Let me tell you, Lan Er is very well married. My son-in-law is a Juren, preparing to travel to the capital for next year's spring examinations. His voice swelled with pride, entirely devoid of any resentment. Xiao Rong listened, his heart growing even heavier. For he knew well, the full reason for his visit, his true purpose, was still unspoken.